Is it unmuted?
Mike, there we go.
Doop. Unmuted.
There we go. Okay.
They will let you know
see if it pops up here. And I think we're okay.
Bueno.
I think it's all right now.
Buenos nachos. Good.
Nachos.
Oh, that sounds good. We got pizza.
We do. We have lots of pizza left over.
Lots and lots of pizza.
So much pizza. Pizza.
We are pizza rich.
Neil House is the first one here. He says, hey.
Neil House in the house.
He's in the house. Jenny's here. Yay. Hey, guys. They're creeping on back into the chat.
Yep. They try to leave, but we just keep dragging them back in. They can't get away.
Yes. Ed Burge is here. Cool. All right. We're going to give it a few minutes and see who the night owls are for the evening. You. And then we can have a little chat. Miss Elena's here.
Little church chat.
Mo Fei Chen says, not hungry, but pizza always sounds good. I know. I could eat pizza almost every day.
Oh, yeah. You know, I forgot to thank Mo Fei Chen for that cool still that they provided for us. I was going to say thank you. Thank you for sending that to us, Mo Fei. We used it after the second part of the movie.
Yeah, that was
as a bumper. That was really cool. Yeah,
those spacesuits looked cool, didn't they?
Yeah, and I had that segment already done and a different ending on it, a different bumper thing. But I'm like, heck, I got to change this one out. This is too good to be true. So, and then that made me find that funny Yandu clip that ID that fella did for us years ago.
Oh, yeah, the cosplay guy.
That's got to be close to 10 years old almost.
Already? Wow.
Yeah, close to it. Yeah.
Jenny says, I wanted to say thank you for the doll. I loved it. So did my parents. Oh, that's cute.
Cool.
I'm glad you guys liked it. Glad it got to you
safely. Got the mummy doll?
She won a couple weeks ago. Mo Fei Chen says, I was so surprised. I couldn't believe you used it. That's from the movie. Yeah, I love those spacesuits.
Yeah, you put our faces in there.
The cool. Fashions in that movie are like crazy. I love it because it's so ridiculous.
Yeah. I wonder if there's any information on who designed the costumes for that particular movie, because
that I'll have to look into.
I think that could be just to kind of focus on that one movie. You know, it could be interesting.
Yeah, that would be neat.
Yeah, and you can, if you do that with every movie that every movie, but like sci-fi movies that you think are cool or interesting,
movies that
visually.
have like visually like weird.
They don't have to be good movies; just have like interesting visuals or costume design.
Disney for the win asks, "Did you have a local TV horror host growing up?" Oh boy, did we!
We had multiple.
So many.
Yeah, we had Big Chuck. Wait, who was okay? Starts all the way back with Ghoulardi, which you can look up, Ghoullardi, Ghoulardi, in the mid '60s, which neither of us really got to see. We're a little bit younger than that, but not by much. But it was Ghoulardi, then Houlihan and Big Chuck and Little John, the Ghoul, Superhost, and who am I missing here? I think these are the big ones that were major, and then we had some other horror hosts here and there, and then we popped up in the 2000 teens. Late
2014, and then early 2015 is when we started filming shows.
We're at least almost 10 years in this gig.
Yeah, Son of Ghoul.
Yeah, Son of Ghoul was in Akron.
Then there was the Cool Ghoul.
Yeah, Son of Ghoul was an Ohio horror host, not Cleveland necessarily, but. Yeah, if you on a good night, you might be able to get his showing up here. But yeah,
Disney says mine was Sammy Terry out of Indianapolis. WTTV4. Oh, cool.
Yep. Now, son of Sammy Terry does his thing.
Yeah, son of Sammy Terry's son continues the character on.
Sammy Terry character.
Yeah, they still do shows. Yeah, it's been 10 years since we have created The Mummy and the Monkey. So. Yeah. I know, time flies, right? When you're having fun.
It sure do.
All right, guys, so let's, looks like there's people in the chat, so let's get started.
All right, let's get this party started. Hey, what's buzzing, cousins? I'm Grimm Gorri.
I'm Janet Decay.
And you're watching The Mummy and the Monkey's
Very Scary
Hangover. Woo.
The after show chat show. So earlier this evening, we hosted the Harry Scary Hangout. And the movie was Flight to Mars from 1951, where we watched a cheesy movie with fun sound effects, and people got to chat about it.
Gave away a prize, went over some interesting trivia for the movie, all kinds of fun stuff. We try to pack it in, and it flies by so quick.
It does. So we had fun with that, and now we're having fun with you here for the after show chat show, where we can chat a little more with you. And we can talk about different movies and shows we've watched.
Oh boy.
And there's some weird ones we've seen, and I'm sure you guys have seen some interesting movies and shows. And we can just talk about stuff like that.
That burp was more interesting than the movie we watched this evening while we were eating our pizza.
Yeah, while we were eating our pizza this evening.
Having our dinner.
And you're burping up pizza.
Yeah.
We were watching.
We went to Tubi. We
Okay.
popped on to Tubi. And walked them through the whole thing. And we were scrolling through the million movies they have on there. And
You're good. I'm just going to adjust this one light.
One popped up. It was called Scream. Now, it's not the Scream that you all know and love probably out there with the what is his name? The happy face killer. What's that thing called? Scream face. What is that thing called?
Oh, I can't think right now.
Ghost face killer.
Ghostface.
I'm not a big super fan of that movie, so it takes me a second to figure it out. But that movie is better than what. There's a movie made in 1981 called Scream, and it is a slasher movie. It's supposed to be because I guess Friday the 13th and all that was out by then, and Texas Chainsaw obviously in the mid 70s, but
it was
low
budget.
Well, low budget has
indie.
Nothing to do with being a good or bad movie.
That's true. That is true. But I'm trying to also add to the painting the picture. And there were some scenes where it looked shaky, like when they were walking down the street or something, and they're trying to follow the person.
That was
it's like shaky.
Yeah, well, that was interesting. More interesting than the film that it was shaky. But that didn't bug me either. But it was the film
that drove
itself,
me nuts.
The movie. So here's the cool thing I thought, or the interesting thing is after I watched pretty much all the movie. I did fall asleep in and out of it and missed nothing. But everything I picked up on, I watched a gentleman or a guy review this same movie on YouTube, and he said pretty much the exact same things that we said out loud as we watched the movie about the movie. Incredible.
It was pretty bad. I didn't even watch all of it.
No, I did. I tried it because I was hoping there'd be this really cool payoff. Like, maybe it's some of these like weird movies that they intentionally make this bad, but then like blow your mind at the end. No. Those are far and few between. The people that can craft a movie like that. This was just a badly written movie. There's no plot other than it seems like people are just being randomly killed in this.
They're out camping somewhere.
It starts out with this really odd group of people, like older people, younger people. It's just a weird mix. It's not teenagers going to camp.
No, I think it was supposed to be like a tour group.
Yeah.
Maybe they were like camping at some historic. They didn't really explain it that well.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
So you just
there was really like very little story.
In two boats going to this like island, and they mentioned the Horn later on, which I guess is the Horn of Mexico. I don't know what they're talking about, where they are.
Yeah.
But they're in this like little secluded place. And it happens to have like they take a little hike, and it has like this western, like abandoned like ghost town, like a western. It looks like a western movie set. And they just are there, and it goes to nighttime, and they're just standing around. I've never seen people act this way, but they don't explain who they are. They don't have any real conversations with each other. They just start going to bed. Good night, everybody. And then people start getting murdered.
And you don't even really know who these people are.
But the murder,
why
all the kills are off screen. The music is the first thing that hit me. The music is so bad. It makes no sense to the film. It
sounds like 80s sitcom.
Yes.
Like really cheesy music, or like
porn, like 70s porn music.
Yes, it's like really out of place and weird. Why are they using this kind of music for a movie that's supposed to be scary?
And obviously it was sponsored by Frito-Lay because they had Lay's. They had a lot of Dr. Pepper. The one girl's wearing a cap with Dr. Pepper.
Yes.
They're carrying a cooler that has a Dr. Pepper logo. They're inside by sitting at the bar or whatever that was supposed to be in that shanty. There's every flavor of Dr. Pepper out. It's just like all logos facing the camera.
Real quick, Insane Jay, we hope you're feeling better. He says not feeling well tonight, just stopping in to say hi and give the video a like. Have a good night. We'll hope you feel better soon. Yeah, rest
buddy.
up.
Yeah, rest up. Feel better soon.
Feel better soon. And there's a lot of comments, so
okay,
finish
go ahead.
okay.
No, I can go on forever about this movie.
On Tubi, I watched Ed and His Dead Mother. So weird and fun, says Jonathan Jackson.
All right, write that one down.
And then Rebel Ghoul says, pizza sounds good. What's everyone's favorite depression meal?
Ice cream.
Maybe she's got... Are you feeling sad? I hope you're feeling okay, Rebel.
I don't know. I guess when I am depressed, can the meal come in a bottle?
Ice cream and a spoon?
Ice cream's good.
An ice cream carton?
Peanut butter. No, I don't know. Peanut butter. Ice cream's a good depression food for me. Butter pecan.
KVK says I'm usually in bed by now.
Yeah, well. Get up. Wake up.
Wake up.
No. So this movie, there's really not much to talk about. And this guy watched, review the movie. He even said, like, there's really, you can't really even recommend this. The only way you really want to watch this, you could recommend it to someone, is if they have to see every slasher movie made from that time period, like just like a complete.
To compare it.
To complete your, not to compare, but to complete your, I saw that.
To say, like, yes, I've seen them all from this era.
But it's definitely a movie that there's nothing you don't miss out on one thing. Not one element, one atom of this movie is enjoyable.
It's all pretty bad. I didn't even, like, halfway through, I'm like,
You tapped out a quarter of the way through the movie.
I'm like, I can't watch this.
I slept through half of it and didn't miss anything. It was really bad. A few things happened to make you go, okay, maybe they're going to turn this right now. But there's really, people just do dumb things. They go walking out by themselves, and of course they get killed.
They disappear and get killed.
It's not even that. There's not even a twist on that. It's just that bad.
It's very predictable.
In the worst way possible.
Yes.
Like, you could see this maybe in the early 70s when the mechanics of these stories were trying to get figured out. There's a bunch of movies like that. But by the 80s, they kind of knew how to make a decent movie,
John Bacon says, what movie are we talking about? So it's Scream from 1981. And it's on Tubi. There's a lot of cheesy old movies on Tubi. And that's why we love it. The good, the bad, the ugly, we love it. Because, we at least could go through and see what's on there. And
I thought, it started out interesting. Because there's this really weird sequence in the beginning. You're like, okay, that's kind of weird. That's different. But then they put all their ideas into this, like, 30 seconds of the beginning before the title comes up. And then it's just nothing. It's just a nothing. I would have to say, in my honest opinion, it is worse than Beast of Yucca Flats. And that's
worse than Beast of Yucca Flats.
That's hard to top.
Beast of Yucca Flats is pretty yucca.
I would watch
That's
Beast.
probably, like, the worst movie.
I would watch, if someone said, hey, which one would you want to own for the rest? I would have to be Beast.
Wow.
This other movie
is
just
harsh.
I can't even say the word.
Them's is harsh words.
That's tough stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I would never see the day, but, yep.
Jonathan Jackson, Scream. I will add it to my list of blah. Not like the 90s Scream movies. The 1981.
You have to look it up. 1981
movie.
With what's the football?
Woody Strode is in it.
Woody Strode.
He's like the only well-known actor in that movie.
Yeah, and
all the other people, like, I didn't recognize.
Yeah, but we saw his name pop up. Like, oh, this is cool. But he's barely in it.
He's only in it for, like, just a second.
I shouldn't even say that, but it's really not a spoiler because it doesn't even matter. But yeah, throwaway movie.
So let's read some comments, and then we can talk about something else we've been watching.
Sure. But don't talk about anything that we haven't finished up, because then you're going to get spoilers.
Well, we could say don't do spoilers.
Don't say that because someone will be compelled to do it.
Oh, really?
Say, this one died. Yeah, trust me, I know people.
I've been watching Tubi with the classic cartoons and Croft shows, says Wiki Bobby.
Yeah.
Cool.
Those are good. Yeah. Croft Superstars. Oh, I used to love that. I still do. Electro Woman and Dyna Girl. You name it. Valley of the Land of the Lost.
Yeah.
HR Puff and stuff.
Those shows are weird.
Sigmund and the Sea Monster.
They're entertaining, but they're very, like, hippie, like, kind of weird.
Wonderbug.
You could tell they were...
Wonderbug was my favorite. Wonderbug. It was about a car that was alive. It was a buggy.
Like a Volkswagen bug?
It was a dune buggy.
Oh, a dune buggy.
Yeah, a big open dune buggy. It was really neat.
Tour rules, says KVK. Hack Editor says Beast of Yucca Flats is fun. Great way to get around shooting sync sound.
Yeah.
Gary Smith says I still wouldn't watch Beast of Yucca Flats.
I don't know, Gary. If you got to see this Scream movie, you might change your mind.
Jonathan Jackson says, how could it be worse than the Beast of Yucca Flats? That is rough.
Tell me if I'm lying. I dare you to watch this movie. You won't. It's impossible.
William Rochelle says, weirdest bad movie I ever saw was Nudist Colony of the Dead, even though it had a cool theme song.
I never heard of that one.
Nudist Colony of the Dead.
There's so many movies.
Wow. Yeah, I've never heard of that one. Spoiler-free review equals watch out for the inevitable spoilers.
It's gonna happen, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, because we're watching one show that's really good, but I can't say it because we still have some episodes to watch.
Yeah, let's just. But
it's a science fiction one.
But we could
say that, and it's a little more current.
Yeah, but we should talk about it after we've seen the whole thing.
We'll talk about it after we've seen the whole thing.
A recent one,
Yes.
a series I finally watched all the seasons was Doom Patrol, the DC comic.
Oh yeah, you've been really getting into that show.
I loved it. It was so good. I think it went 4 seasons, and I loved it. It was so offbeat and weird in the way that the Peacemaker was weird with John Cena.
Oh, Peacemaker, I really like.
John Cena.
Yeah.
So if you like that, it's written by it's a different show altogether, obviously, but it's still DC. It is so good, and there's a little bit of a crossover with what's the other show? Teen Titans. Well, Teen Titans actually, and I watched that whole series too. I got to rent all those from the library. I borrowed them from the library.
Nice.
Recently, saw Teen Titans. It was really good. It was so different, very violent. I couldn't believe what they actually did. Way different
than the cartoons, obviously.
No, the comic book. What I remember from the early '80s, the Marv Wolfman, George Perez comics were really. I think they dealt with. It was pretty true to that as far as some of the storylines, and they had characters. One guy was called Deathstroke. He was a killer, and he killed people in the comics. So he did kill people. They did a lot of violent stuff that you're just not used to seeing in like your Superman or your average Superman or Batman movie.
Right.
I think Batman's killing people now, but Punisher again in the Marvel universe.
Oh, Punisher was brutal.
That was and so was Daredevil. They got pretty.
Daredevil's cool.
They got pretty brutal in the Daredevil show and in Power Man, Luke Cage. But anyway,
I really liked Luke Cage.
Doom Patrol is super trippy. I guarantee there's stuff you've never ever seen in anything, a movie or a television show.
I watched a little bit and overheard some of it, like while you were working. And I'm like, this is weird.
They use...
This is, like, really weird.
The F word is every other word in that show. Everyone swears like a sailor, which I love. Because you don't see that in Superman and Batman movies.
No, you don't.
But they go off on it. But it was beautifully done. Again, different, trippy. You have to kind of, put that lens on. You're not watching, Superman save somebody from, falling from a building. In this show, if somebody fell... Like, one of the characters would freeze up and the person would fall and splat on the ground, and they would go, holy fuck! It's like that kind of thing.
So they're not really the best at being superheroes.
They're the worst.
They're
Doom Patrol.
Yeah.
But,
they're not doing a great job at saving everyone.
No, especially themselves. Everyone is so broken, but that's what I like about it. It was very.
They all
different.
have like their own issues and problems, and struggles.
They didn't. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but yeah, when the story does all come together, and you watch it, you're like, why is this going on? And they do explain everything. It's a long burn, slow burn, but it all is explained and it makes sense. What? But it is cool. I will just have to say without ruining anything, it's not even by their invention. I'll just say that. Like, they are how they are.
Okay.
But it's really good.
Cool. All right. Well, there's a ton of comments here.
Please.
So, James Muscarella says, Scream, Blackula, Scream on Svengoolie Saturday night. So, he's watching that.
Scream, Blackula,
That's a good movie.
Do,
and then Gary Smith says, Peacemaker was originally a Charlton comic. I almost said Charlton.
Charlatan. Some people, I've heard people in interviews say Charlatan comic.
Charlatan.
That's a cool name.
It reminds me of that a little bit.
No, it's Charlton comic.
Charlton comic.
Yes, Peacemaker, Blue Beetle, The Question. I loved Charlton comic characters or comic books growing up. The Charlton comics are great because they were a very it was a very cheap version of Marvel and DC. As far as the quality of the print. They were printed on the cheapest newsprint, and that smell is different.
The smell of the ink or the paper.
And theirs was uniquely different. It didn't smell like the other comics. It had its own smell, like the newsprint.
Kind of like how you've got your own smell.
You've got multiple different smells.
Rebel Ghoul says, I love the movie about Killer Ice Cream Truck Guy, and now I can't remember if that was Peacock or Tubi.
The killer? Is that
Killer Ice Cream?
Is that the Ron Howard's brother, Ice Cream Man? Right.
The Ice Cream Man? Is that like the? Did they do a spin-off of? Makes me think of like Phantasm.
No. There's a movie with it's all by itself.
Like Reggie Bannister with the ice cream truck.
It's Clint Howard, Ron Howard's brother, the weird looking, but he's a great actor. He was in a movie called Ice Cream Man, I think it's called.
Oh, okay.
Or is it called Ice Cream?
Ice Cream?
Something like that. But anyway, but yeah, that's on our Riff Tracks did a version of that. They make fun of it.
Okay.
We have not watched it yet.
No, I haven't seen that yet.
I think it's Ice Cream. Ice Cream Man.
A few years ago, you came out with a top 10 Halloween movie list, says John Biggins. Yeah, we did.
Remember that?
That was a virtual event for one of the public libraries.
I just found those cards we made, those little placards we made.
Oh, that's funny.
They look like VHS covers. Yeah, I can't even remember. My number one would have to be, obviously, The Exorcist. And I know it's a go-to one, but it is that good of a movie. I can't ignore it, as for what it is. It's, like, beautifully done.
Fulton Pierce, the Luke Cage series looked good. Oh, it's very good. That's a good show.
Luke Cage Power Man is so good.
That's a really good series.
They're so... I knew it was going to be good whenever they showed the preview for it, like the trailer, when because at this point he knows he's bulletproof. That's the whole, there's a whole lot of social political stuff about the character, why he was designed that way, a bulletproof black man. Basically, they just said, what kind of, that was what Stanley was trying to show when he created that character. But he's also super strong from this chemical bath that he got. He was experimented on in prison, and he gets out and... But he's this guy that's bulletproof and very strong. But in the preview, when he's like going after these like thugs in this building, and he just punches the wall, grabs a pipe out of the wall, and just starts beating these guys. I was like, that is just mind-blowingly comic book. I loved it.
And then there was another comment. I'm trying to find it now.
Yeah.
Son of Coffin Joe. Only ever bought one comic book as a kid. It was something full of vampires.
Yeah. Oh, Planet of Vampires? I mean, there's a billion vampire
Yeah, there were
books.
A lot of, like, vampire books.
Well, there was one... it'd be funny if I could guess what it was.
I actually picked up one the other day at the comic shop.
Oh, yeah, it was reprints of a bunch of old vampire comics.
What was it? B&L Comics?
B&L Comics.
B&L Comics in Parma.
In Parma, yeah.
In Parma.
Let's be specific, yes.
Yeah, it was a vampire one.
Yeah,
and it was, like a reprint of some of the old, like, vampire stories.
Is it Vampira in there?
No.
Or Vampire?
Vampire.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think they ever made a Vampira comic book. I wish they would.
I don't even know how you would guess this, but there was a comic book put out by another small company called Atlas Comics. It was called Planet of the Vampires. And I think it lasted 1 or 2 issues. I think I have them somewhere.
Oh, okay.
But it's really cool. It's very sci-fi vampire stuff, if that's what he's talking about.
Yeah, maybe not.
Maybe not.
He wasn't. He was trying to remember the name.
Who knows? It could be anything.
What happened to the Fanny Awards, says James Muscarella?
They are still in the works here. I got to make it work out so it's... I don't know. So I can figure out how to make it.
Sometimes we try ideas and sometimes they...
Yeah. It just kind of fall flat because
sometimes things fall through
because we got so much going on. It's just like we're trying to figure out how to do all this stuff and other things.
Trying to juggle all the things,
but it's not out of the total.
It's on the back burner.
It's on the
right
back
now.
burner.
We're not totally like getting rid of it. It's just something that we might.
It's in the crisper. It's not even on the back burner. It's in the fridge in the crisper.
Yeah, we want to bring it back later on.
Actually,
we're just not sure how to go about it yet.
It's in the freezer. That's in the garage. It's not. It's still there.
Yeah. It's in deep freeze.
It's in deep freeze, but it's not been thrown away in the garbage yet.
No, it's still good.
Expiration date's still open.
It's in one of those freezer bags and it's being well preserved.
Yeah, we're watching it. We're checking the expiration date.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it could happen.
Would you guys see the new Planet of the Apes, says Jenny?
I haven't seen...
We haven't seen it yet, but we're open to seeing it.
I loved the first one. I don't think I've seen the other ones, and shame on me, because I do like the first one. And we talked about this last time, I think, or on our another show, on our what was that? The Living the Scream, because I know we talked about this recently, but that the Tim Burton remake, I didn't like that at all. That
so
can just go
for
away.
new viewers who don't know what the Fanny Awards are, because people are saying...
What is that?
Son of Coffin Joe says I missed what they're talking about.
Okay, the Fanny Awards was an idea that I had several years ago to, instead of the hosts and people in the media getting awards, why can't we give the fans awards? Why wouldn't a show do that?
Yeah.
So
we gave out a handful of them.
I'm sure other shows in the past have done that. I don't claim, But I just an idea that
a couple years ago.
Yeah, I thought I would call it the fannies. You know how cute, like and they make it look like a butt, but
yeah,
that just is to be cute, to be different. Our version of an Oscar.
Just something silly.
But the idea would be like, and obviously it's kind of tricky because if you pick some people and if you do it once a year or twice a year. Eventually, everyone's going to want a fanny because everyone, you don't want to make anyone feel left out.
Good point, Rebel Ghoul. Depending on the U.S. or the U.K., fanny could be very different.
Yes, that's true.
Yes, the U.S. version of fanny.
Yes, yeah. If
but
you're in the U.K.,
not the other
you can take it
body
how you want.
parts.
Yeah, well, I know. Yes, I'm well aware of the difference in that.
Yes.
So, I know we got to be careful with that, but I don't think we have a lot of UK. If we have a lot of UK viewers, then let us know.
I think we had a couple of UK viewers.
They would probably laugh at that if they got a fanny.
Oh, yeah. We've had people laugh at that before.
That's like saying the P word over here, I think.
Tee-hee. Yeah.
Anyway. But we're just saying it like it's nothing.
And John Biggins, I wrote to Coast AM again, told them you want another honorable mention for Rondo. I'll never give up. Oh, thank you, John.
Thanks for the support.
Thank you for the good word.
Yeah, well, we're working our way to a few things. Hopefully, in the very near future, things will go a little. Will be interesting, and will pop up in places you might not expect. But we'll see.
Yeah.
But Doom Patrol, highly recommend that series. And the Teen Titans, I think DC does a way better job with their television shows or their series, and not the big screen stuff. I haven't been really impressed by personally. I do like the Aquaman movie, the first one. It's not that bad in my opinion. It was more interesting story and visually than some of the other stuff that was out. But there's a new Superman movie coming out, and that's supposed to be a lot different.
And they're filming it in Cleveland.
That's right.
So that'll be cool to see.
Interesting, yeah.
It'll be interesting.
They'll blow stuff up again like the Avengers.
Yeah, it's nice to see movies filmed.
But back to Planet of the Apes.
Here.
I think we have here like the first 3. But I think there's 5 altogether.
We probably just have to rewatch like all of them. I think we saw maybe the first 1 or 2 of the remakes.
The first one I know. I don't think I've seen the second one. I have them like sitting there in a pile, and I gotta get
I'd like to rewatch the original Planet of the Apes.
We got
like
a whole set.
The 70s ones.
We got the set.
Oh, okay. Well, then we got to watch it.
I picked up the set of it. It's like about 5 or 6 movies for like $15 at thrift store one time a bunch of years ago.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
We got it. I think was it Terminator 3 where they fought the lady was the Terminator, but the ending of that totally reminds me of a Planet of the Apes movie.
I think I saw Terminator 3. I saw like the first 2.
The second one's the best, of course.
They're both so good.
The first one's amazing.
They're both great movies.
Oh yeah. Third one's not that bad, and then they just kind of fall off from there.
Mo Fei Chen says, I rewatched Corman's Planet of Terror. Considering the budget, it holds up pretty well. The doc about it pretty much says James Cameron was the real force behind it. Oh, cool.
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of the people cut their teeth on Roger Corman. We should have dedicated. Oh, yeah, Roger Corman just passed away. He passed away
last week.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's so many Roger Corman movies that are enjoyable, and he gave a lot of actors, starting out. Mm-hmm. He was like their stepping stone into getting into Hollywood and getting into better movies.
But his most prominent one was probably Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, probably. And I love Little Shop of Horrors. That's probably one of my Corman favorites. I love the Fantastic Four movie he did.
Yeah, that was.
It's cheesy, but
the best Fantastic Four movie to date.
It is. It's still the best Fantastic Four movie.
Other ones are just they get away from the canon and they just mess it all up. This is the closest one, and I think, from what I've read, the new one coming out looks really good. They figured it out. It's going to be set in the 60s. Yes.
Yay!
Of course.
So it might be more enjoyable because it has that retro vibe.
And who beat them to the punch was Pixar's The Incredibles. And you haven't seen that.
No.
But that is basically the Fantastic Four.
It looks like it.
It's got the retro jazz
I
music.
Heard, yeah.
It's the design of everything. It's so good.
So Reb says Humanoids from the Deep. They really like that one.
That's like an 80s, drive-in classic, yeah.
And Vincent Price, The Raven is my favorite. Ooh, yeah, that's another good one. No, Vincent Price, The Raven. Is Karloff in that one,
I thought
too?
it was Karloff and Britt Price.
Oh, maybe they're both in that one.
But he's in The Raven.
Oh, yeah. Okay. And then Sears says Jack Nicholson was also in The Raven by Roger Corman.
Yes.
Oh, so like everyone was in that movie.
He's in that, and Jack Nicholson in that, The Terror, and then my favorite as a kid, Big Chuck and Little John, our local horror host here, and Houlihan and Big Chuck. When that would come on, that was like a big treat whenever they would have Little Shop of Horrors. I couldn't. It would like come
it's
on.
so
once,
entertaining.
Once every so many years, they would actually get to show it.
It was well written and funny and real like.
I think Big Chuck said they would show it around Christmas. That would be like the big time that would come out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like around that time of the year, and it would. I mean, it was always a big show, and I always loved to catch it as a kid.
Oh, thank you, Gary. Gary says Karloff, Price, Laurie, and Nicholson were in The Raven.
Peter Lorre.
Like everyone was in that.
Yeah, that's a big movie. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, Corman.
I haven't seen it in a while. I remember Vincent Price in it. I was trying to remember who else. That's one I'd like to watch again.
They should make a deli should have a Corman beef sandwich. That sounds good. A lot of cheese on it.
Son of Coffin Joe, House of the Long Shadows is super fun. Don't think that's a Corman one though.
House of Long Shadows.
House of the Long Shadows.
Is that the?
Is that a Hammer film?
I know that they remade it, and actually the remake is pretty good from the 80s.
That one. I know of it. I just don't think I've seen it.
I have Big Chuck and Little John showing a version of the House of Long Shadows. I don't know if that was just a one-off movie or was that one from the 80s. It's a modern movie, but it's really good. It's like totally, and I think that's the one. It's pretty good.
Philip Norris says Ron Howard said without Roger Corman giving him his break when he was 21, he'd have never gotten to be the director he became.
What was that? Eat My Dust? Was that a Corman movie?
And then Eat My Dust.
There's a movie called Eat My Dust with Ron Howard. I think that might be it. What other Ron Howard movie was? What did Roger Corman gave him a directorial break? Or he learned how to direct from Roger Corman?
No, he just his break into. Well, I'd have to look it up.
Well, Ron Howard was Opie, so he was already in show business, but it must have been later when he grew up. I don't know the whole Ron Howard story.
Yeah, I'd have to look up his story.
But what was the movie that Roger Corman gave him the break?
Eat My Dust and Grand Theft Auto, says Mo Fei-Chan.
Yes, Eat My Dust. Yeah, I know that movie. It's a car. And then steal cars.
J. Michael Harris says Bucket of Blood is great too. Bucket of Blood is interesting.
That's my least. But honestly, that's the one I kind of like. That movie is not my favorite Roger Corman movie. But I don't know why it's not. Other than it's just like the beatnik stuff's kind of weird to me.
And the Fast and the Furious, he made the original.
The original, not the Vin Diesel.
Not the Vin Diesel one, but yeah, the original Fast and the Furious. Was Roger Corman.
Wait a minute. Vin Diesel.
Death Race 2000, Reb Ohio.
That's Carradine. Oh, that's a good movie.
Is Grand Theft Auto on Tubi? Ooh, that I don't know.
Yeah,
I bet there are some Corman movies on Tubi.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
The Fast and the Furious, the Corman one, that's like so far back, like early '60s, I believe. But and then they now the first remake of that's really good with the Vin Diesel. I personally, that's a guilty pleasure of mine. I got that whole Blu-ray.
It's not really my thing.
It's all just dumb. Big stupid guys
it's
in
like
big dumb cars.
Dumb guy car movie.
In muscle cars. and they know what it is, and they don't try to do anything more than that. See, I respect movies that do that. I respect movies that know what they are and just give you 100% of what it is.
It is what it is.
They don't try to pretend. Well, we're just trying to do this, but we don't. No, it's just not. This is it. This is what it is.
Dudes and cars. And
bigger and dumber.
This is the movie.
More speed, more gadgets, more. And those to me are more enjoyable because they know what they are. They're fine with it. Yeah. And I like people like that.
Very
too.
like tongue in cheek.
Those are my favorite people in the world too. That don't pull any. They're just who they are, and this is it. And here's more. And here's more. So. Yeah, but
Corman said if he starred in Eat My Dust, he could direct Grand Theft Auto. Oh, so that's cool. So hey, act in this movie, and you can direct this other movie, and that's what got him started into directing.
That's interesting.
That's really neat.
Yeah, you would think that Opie would have the open door since it was Opie, but nope.
And Mofe Chen says the new Fast and the Furious movies are like kids playing Hot Wheels.
It's ridiculous, but you know it is. You don't go in there
That's what it reminds me of. That's a good analogy.
You don't go in there thinking, got ludicrous. Like what's it? Oh,
hey,
hell, man.
Why the hell not?
And they're like,
just make it ridiculous.
My car can fly. They're just chitty bang bang. Why don't they do a version
Put
of
that car in Fast and the Furious?
I would love
to see
that. And then
Herbie the Love Bug.
Herbie the what?
Herbie the Love Bug.
Oh, yeah, Herbie is a love bug.
Herbie, the car. Not the other thing.
Not that love bug. With the question mark. No, that was one of my favorite, as a little kid, as a wee ape, that was one of my favorite Disney movies. Herbie the Love Bug. Not the Lindsay Lohan remake, I never saw that.
Yeah, I didn't see the remake. Gary says, I remember seeing Not of This Earth on Ghoulardi.
Earth, yeah.
Wow, back in the day.
That's cool. I mean, anyone that got to see Ghoulardi when he was actually on, blows my mind.
Gary's old school.
That is so cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, Corman. Yeah, but Bucket of Blood is a good movie. It's almost like, I wonder if he was related to Seymour Krelboyne, the guy. What's his name? Dick Smith, that plays in that movie. He's like the wannabe artist.
Oh.
You remember that? Remember how that movie starts?
It's got that cartoony segment.
No. I mean the premise of the movie Bucket of Blood.
Oh, you're talking about Bucket of Blood. I thought you said...
No, Bucket of Blood. He reminds me of Seymour Krelboyne.
I was thinking of Little Shop of Horrors because you said Seymour.
He's this guy who he's like a little nebbishy guy who just wants to fit in, and in this movie he wants to be an artist. Dick Smith, I'm sure that's the guy's name, right? That plays him. That actor.
I know faces. I'm not really good with names.
I think am I right?
Dick Miller.
Dick Miller. I thought Dick Smith. Smith. I wonder why I confused those two.
Yeah.
But Dick Miller. I knew I was wrong, but I knew it was a common last name.
Yes.
But not common enough that I would remember. Anyway, but Dick Miller plays this artist that is like a wannabe guy, and he's sculpted and nobody cares about what he's doing. But then his cat gets trapped in the wall, or a cat gets trapped in the wall, and he's like trying to find it, and he kills it accidentally because he was trying to hammer it out or something. He kills it.
Yeah.
So
poor kitty.
Somehow he winds up putting it in plaster, and people think he sculpted the cat.
Oh yeah, and they're like, "Oh, what an amazing sculpture!"
Yeah, and then he kills.
And it's like,
oh, you know who's in that movie? Bert Convy is the cop in the movie.
What was
Bert Convy turned out to be like a game show host. He was like a big
like a TV host.
Yeah.
That's funny.
He was win, lose or draw. Bert Convy, like way later, like in the in the 90s. But he was
okay. I never watched that show.
Good looking type of guy, but he was like a hippie sort of cop back then, or like a hipster cop. And he kills him by accident, and then plasters him up, and it's like plaster casters.
David says the Roger Corman remake of Not of This Earth has an intro with a lot of clips of things that don't appear in the movie.
Was that Zontar made after that movie?
Zontar?
The thing from
was Zontar?
It was a remake of a Corman movie.
No. Yeah, it was a remake of a Corman movie, but then they took like clips from some. Was it they took like clips from a Russian sci-fi movie?
That was a different,
Or was that a different one?
No, it's a different thing.
I'm getting them mixed up.
That's okay.
But no, there were like 2 or 3 different sci-fi movies that came out in America.
Had nothing to do with Corman though.
But they took like clips from some like Russian.
A really cool Russian sci-fi movie.
A really cool Russian sci-fi movie, like with spaceship.
They took
like all the spaceship effects.
Women from a prehistoric planet.
Yes.
And Queen of Blood.
Queen of Blood, I think is.
Yeah, those 2 movies definitely took, and there might be a few more that did that. But I was just ranting about
Victor says, "Nice Vampirella shirt." It's not quite Vampirella. It's a vampire girl, made by Toxic Tunes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a little different.
But Bucket of Blood is definitely one of those ones. It's interesting. It's definitely got its own vibe to it. Actually, the more I see it, and it pops up a lot because it's one of those public domain movies, which I don't think is really public domain, but...
Yeah, I don't think his movies are public domain anymore. I know some of them were, like A Bucket of Blood, Little Shop of Horrors.
Not anymore, though.
I don't think they are. I think everyone's, like, buying them up now. I don't think we can even host them anymore.
With this passing, somebody might just clamp them all and own them, and I could see that.
Yeah, probably.
What was the sci-fi movie he did? Not The Last Starfighter. It was something like that. Battle Beyond the Stars. I like that.
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it. There's still a lot of his movies that
you know who's in that movie?
No.
John Boy from the Waltons.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I've been watching the Waltons a little bit.
I know. So he's in. I'm pretty sure. Am I right, everybody?
Because I never watched the Waltons when it was like on back in the day.
Oh boy, everyone
so I'm
did.
like,
it was a popular show.
They play it on MeTV like in the afternoons. So I'll watch that a little bit while doing my eBay stuff.
You know what's appealing about that? Like if you watch those shows now, what's appealing about the portrayal of that lifestyle back then?
What
was the simplicity? You don't have AI. You don't have all this crap.
Yeah, everything was more simple.
And it's getting more and more. It's getting worse. It's to me in the fact that everything that made life sort of just like, oh, where am I going to get milk from? Now it's just like it's so complicated now. In the guise of it making things simple, and it's not. It complicates things.
It seems like it's complicating things.
Of course it is. You know, how are look at any old person that's over, like, no offense to anybody, because I'm not that young. But at all, I'm getting up there. But we're struggling now, and without getting too personal, with and I'm sure a lot of you people have people that don't know how to use a computer or could care less about computers.
Yeah.
But everything is based in that. It's like, and they can't. They need assistance. They just don't want to deal with. Is it designed that way?
Yeah, like
that
if you have a senior person in your family that is, they're not very tech savvy.
Because they never had to use that. That was never part of their life.
Just to set up regular appointments and things
like that.
What's
your email? They're like, what the?
What's your email? She doesn't use an email.
People are not in their emails every day looking.
And like, how do people who live an Amish lifestyle even get by?
That's what they do.
Like if you live in the middle of nowhere, like how do you get?
But that's an example to show you that you can get by. That we've become. But I'm getting too crazy right now.
Yeah, like how do they? This is way off topic, but
because the guys is that it's simpler to live this way with all the stuff done for you.
But you have to have all of these gadgets to do these things that are supposed to make it simpler.
The price you pay is anything.
When back in the day you could just make a phone call and schedule.
It was up to you to, but
and do it without all that.
There's some cool stuff and convenient stuff about it.
Yeah, and we
Don't get me wrong, but But I come from the day from answering machines where you go walk away, do your thing all day, come back and screen your calls,
check your messages, and call people back later.
You didn't want to be found. Now it's like, oh my God, who's calling me? It's like constant.
Let me share on Insta where I am every second.
Yeah. I remember when that was a thing. Like, not Yelp. What was that thing where, like, what was that called where you could check in?
Oh, it was like Foursquare.
I'm like, why the hell?
That was 10 years ago.
Why are you letting people let people know you're not at home, where you are, how
hey
far
everyone,
you are from your
I'm
house?
Here and there. Yeah, like
it's the weird. It's just odd. Here I am. It's like it's a self thing. It's a narcissistic thing, and it just. But it doesn't matter. We're all hooked in. It's crazy.
Okay, let's read some comments.
I'm sorry. Sometimes we get a little deep, not too deep.
Sometimes we go on little tangents here.
Well, we're people under all this stuff, Believe it or not.
Chuck says, growing up, my local drive-in was always showing the double feature Bucket of Blood with 2000 Maniacs.
Oh, boy. Wow.
Ooh, what a combination. Yeah, what a combo
you
there.
get this sort of light romp of, but then with Bucket, and then you get this, which has...
Well, Bucket of Blood is pretty morbid, too.
It's really morbid.
Yeah, it's pretty messed up, actually.
This guy couldn't control himself. He was just like killing people just
so he could be an artist?
A cool artist, yeah.
But he was... That means he wasn't really a good artist.
Nope.
He sucked.
It's kind of like tracing, right?
Yeah. It's way cheating.
It's kind of like AI. It's like using AI art. AI-generated art. I'll type in what I want to draw, and I won't have to draw it.
David Hayes says, I miss my DVR. He misses DVRing shows.
I used to DVR everything. I loved it. I liked that. That was cool.
Yeah.
I was a big DVR fan, too. But there's other ways to tape stuff, too. No. David
Phillips says, without my gadgets, I couldn't watch The Mummy and the Monkey.
I'm not putting down technology.
We're not putting down technology. It's just sometimes...
Some of it's intrusive.
Sometimes it's like a little too much.
But when it gets to do everything for you, it gets to be like a little bit of a...
Because it's like...
It's like, what are we doing? Like, why are we dependent so much on things that need to be recharged? How did we get this far without that? Human beings, and we did. I can't imagine milking a goat, but if I had to, I guess I would have.
John Biggins says, letting burglars know you're not at home. Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy. And then...
Like I'm going on vacation. Like when people post that they're on vacation. And it's like, well, that's
And
post when you come back.
And if my Facebook or Instagram isn't private, then if you just want to look and see what I have in my house, because everything I get, I show what. Hey, look at this new Xbox I got yesterday. This is awesome on Facebook. Well, they got this. They can go through the
everyone
can
see that. Yeah,
Here's my living room. Oh, there's that TV. We'll take that stereo.
Jeez.
See that sculpture? That's a real expensive sculpture.
Yeah.
That's a Matisse. The people know stuff now, and if they don't know what it is, they just Google Lens it. The crooks. From the
Bone Jangler says texting and streaming. Those I like. The rest I could do without.
Yeah, there's some simple stuff.
Yeah, cool. I wish we could with some things, can we just pick and choose?
No, it's getting more and more what's that term with a man and machine?
Symbiotic?
No. That old term that was coined in science fiction about man merging with machine. I can't think of it right now. Anyway, but there's this whole. Well, it's coming to that. It's coming to be. Where you'll be the tech
robots are going to take over.
Well, the tech will be a part of you.
Everything's going to be robotic.
This
cyborg.
Is all, I mean, think of anything that has been you're like, why did people do this that way? Why didn't they just get an iPhone?
Cybernetic?
No, I know that.
There's some comments here. They were saying cybernetic.
No, not like that. It was it's like man. What's it called? Shoot.
I don't know.
It was a term, some science fiction.
Transhumanism. Ooh, yes, I've heard that word.
I think that's it.
Transhumanism, and that's what people are working on right now.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like Free Jack, that movie with Keanu Reeves. Bionics are integrated to help you. But I'm talking about where the technology is definitely a part of you. You don't even.
Well, they already do that with some medical devices.
Of course,
they've already been doing that.
You're not transhumanism. That's it. You're not going to even understand it. I think this is going to look totally different 50 years from now. This would be all this stuff we're using now
will be implanted.
You won't even see it.
We could stream from our fingertips.
Yes, maybe from your brain.
Maybe even watch it through our eyeballs will project it or something.
If you can think it, that's exactly.
Yeah, it'll show up Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah. What did Gene Roddenberry? Hey, let's have a communicator that flips open and you talk. Everyone's like, that's kind of cool, but that's how the flip. And now
50 years later, there were flip phones.
It doesn't look like that now, though.
Yeah.
See, I'm saying the progression. The idea was way back then.
Oh yeah.
The fruition and then the evolution. So, what are we talking about? A monkey talking about evolution.
I know,
Go
right?
Figure. Makes sense.
We're having.
This is the opposite of the other show we did.
Yes.
That's the beauty of this. You'll never. I don't know a lot of.
Grimm's having an existential
moment.
I have trouble with that word. Existential.
Yeah. No, I don't
Jonathan says, imagine being someone hacked and their heart being turned off. Ooh.
Yeah, why not?
That's scary.
Why not? Hey, I've heard I don't want to get into that now, but there's other weird weaponry that's supposedly has existed for a few decades now. Lord knows what they could do now, but actually sending. You don't even have to have a heart thing in it. There's actually ways to mess with people.
Son of Coffin Joe goes fembots though.
Hey yo, Stepford Wives.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, wasn't that what they were? Robots?
Or what was that one movie we saw where it was probably a 1950s or 60s about they called them clickers. What was the name of that movie?
That was a really good movie.
It was a really good sci-fi movie.
Gosh, it was really heavy. But I could see it in my head.
The one lady was married to a robot guy.
You got to see this movie.
Her brother was
can't remember.
Her brother was all against it, and
if someone could look that up real quick, look up.
But they were in love. She was in love with this robot guy,
and they really addressed. That was that other.
But then the guy you didn't know later on you find out he was a robot, but he was the one against robots all throughout the movie.
Even though he was one.
But I guess humanity was struggling, and to become robotic was the
next evolution.
The next step in evolving, and
instead of being locked in these bodies that can't last forever.
It was like they put your soul into it.
You got to see. If someone could look up, and because I'd like to see this again too.
I can't remember the name of it.
We could look it up on our own, but if someone wants
Bone Jangler, Creation of the Humanoids.
Humanoids, yeah.
Yes, I think that was the one.
That's it.
That was a really good movie.
There's another movie.
That reminds me of some of the things that could be going on in the near future.
I was getting that title confused with The Human Duplicators, which is another movie with It's nothing like this. It's kind of like this, but a lot dumber. With Jaws, what's his name? Richard Kiel.
Oh,
there's another movie called The Human Duplicators about this race that wants to come down.
Yes, I've heard of that. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, what's called Creation of the Humanoids.
Yes, yes.
What a weird name.
Creation of the Humanoids.
We got to get that movie. Yeah, I'd like to have that in the library actually.
Yeah, the Monster Channel has aired it a couple times.
Oh yeah, that's where we saw it.
And that's where we originally saw it.
But this movie,
it was a really good movie.
It's crazy because it was made in the late 50s, I think. Right? Mid to late 50s?
Yeah, like I think mid to late 50s, maybe early 60s.
It's a beautiful looking movie, and it's real deep with all this kind of like,
yes, and it really
sci-fi.
Like, yeah, it's kind of like what's going on now.
It's kind of,
it's cray. It's really cray.
I think humans could always see that once that thing got into our psyche, even if you're not technologically inclined to be able to build stuff, it's easy for most people to just envision or imagine what could be.
Right.
You know.
Okay, well, the Mummy and the Monkey here are all organic.
Yeah, for the most part.
Mostly. Gluten-free.
Not me.
No, you're not gluten-free.
Look, I think I'm
We're not bioengineered yet.
No, I'm of the ilk of the a little what don't kill you makes you stronger, type of thing. And I don't mind eating a little dirt and having a little bit of this and that.
Yeah.
Because with limits, of course. There's some things I would never ever touch or do, but I don't worry too much about things being too. Because think about it. If they're just cracking down right now on pesticides, what the heck was everyone ingesting before they cracked down? And we're still here.
Well, they haven't.
As a race, though, we're still here.
Well, that's why I look for organic stuff.
Yeah, but the more but you become more immune to stuff because that's how the body works.
And let's not get into that stuff.
I'm not. I'm just saying.
That's a whole nother topic.
I know, but I'm just.
You get kind of on these.
That's tangents.
Things.
And that's okay. Yeah. The hairy, scary tangent.
And we were originally talking movies and TV shows.
I don't care, but that's the beauty of this thing. It's
it goes into weird directions.
It becomes this there's a rant fest.
It's approaching midnight, and I'm a tired little ghoul.
And you still have a photo shoot.
And I still have to take some pictures for ToxicTunes.com. Our friend Eric over at ToxicTunes.com.
Yes, who was kind enough to supply us with tonight's prize giveaway on the Hairy Scary Hangout.
Yes. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in and chatting with us. There's some new names we saw in the chat, like Son of Coffin Joe.
Some of you might wake up tomorrow and go, did I just hear a Mummy and the Monkey rant about
robots taking over?
Transhumanism and pesticides? And what the hell was that about? I got to stop drinking this stuff. Anyway.
Yeah. So give the video a like if you like talking with us.
And yes, you did.
You did, yes.
And we'll do it again.
Sears says the Mummy and the Monkey are organic, cage-free, and non-GMO. Single-sourced.
Golly.
Yes, we are.
I don't want to get into that. You really believe what you're reading.
So on that note.
Yes.
Good night. Good fright. Mwah, see ya.
Toodle.